What's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So this is my 2015 F150. It's an XLT trim. I've done a lot to it in the short 1.5 years that I have owned it, and I'm continuing to modify it and make it my own. I got it to the point with the exterior that I'm very happy. There's a few things that I'm going to be changing, like the front grille, which is over in that box. I love this grille, but changing it up a little bit. So we'll do that in another video. But in my last video, you guys saw me install the Kicker subwoofer in the back of the truck. Got everything working. It's awesome. I absolutely love it. And that kind of motivated me to do a little bit more to the interior, kind of clean it up, make it my own, make it the way that I want it. One of the things I wanted to clean up in the interior of the truck was this wire. This wire running here is for the SCT Tuner. I am running a 5-star tune off the SCT Tuner down here. And this is just an old phone mount that I've been using for quite some time. While it's necessarily not in the way too much, I do find that I hit my knee on it once in a while. Plus the wire is just kind of wrapped around that back, so it's a little messy. I'm not a big fan of it. And I kind of want my phone mount back because I don't have anywhere to put my phone, kind of mounted up. I just kind of put it in here. It works, but I'd rather have it mounted on this side, which is where I normally had it. And I also want to get rid of this wire. But since I am tuned, I do like to monitor certain things. Now the SCT Tuner is great because you can monitor, I believe, up to 8 different parameters at the same time. However, it's just too much information. You don't need to know all that at once. I only run 3 gauges on the SCT Tuner, which is the boost, coolant temp, and IATs, which is the intake temp. The only thing that I really keep an eye on is boost. The coolant temp and the intake temp stays very consistent. It's around the 200, just under 200 for the coolant temp, and IATs are pretty consistent under the 100 mark, unless I'm obviously stopped. But otherwise, they're very consistent, so I don't really need to monitor them as much. However, I wanted to find a way to put a gauge in the truck without having to do anything crazy. This is something that I always wanted to do in previous vehicles, but I never found the need for it. Or in my STI, I was running the access port, which I wanted to monitor all those different parameters at the same time. So I wanted something really clean for this truck, since I really only want to keep an eye on boosts. I didn't want any aftermarket gauges just kind of sitting anywhere or anything like that. So I came across this really cool product by Raxiom. It's Raxiom. Very cool. This actually works or gets installed right into the driver's side left vent. So if we go over here, you can see the little section right here. The gauge is actually going to go into these slats in the vent, so it's gonna be nice and hidden. I'm gonna be able to monitor the boost. You can actually monitor a bunch of different things, just not at the same time. You can do boost, you can do coolant, intake temp, you can do your battery voltage. You actually can reset codes and everything with it as well, so it's pretty much the same thing over there, but it's just in a much cleaner install, a much cleaner application, and I think it's gonna be really cool. And I'm gonna be able to get rid of that wire, and it's gonna be very clean. You're not gonna notice it unless it's on. You do lose a little bit of the vent right here, at least of the airflow, but it's really not much at all. You're still going to have complete access down there, and it's still going to be functioning just exactly the same in terms of being able to adjust that and all that. So let's go ahead, let's start installing it. It's really simple. There's 2 different ones you can get. You can get one, which is the one I got, the OBD2 connection, which just plugs right down there into the OBD2, gets all the information from there. Or you can get one without that, which you can run an actual vacuum line to the boost and everything. And I just didn't think that was necessary. It's so much easier just to plug in the OBD2 down there and get all the different parameters and information that you need. So let's go ahead, let's kind of install. I'll show you how to do it. It's really simple. There is a harness, as you can see down there. That is the OBD2 connection, which I really like, the wire coming out the top, so it's not gonna be sticking straight out like the SCT Tuner one. This is the little module box that you're gonna be plugging everything into. And this just plugs right into that side. So really easy, very simple install, and I'm looking forward to putting it in. So let's go ahead, let's start popping off what we need to in there to get access to the vent, and let's get this thing installed. All right, so in order to get this vent off, it's really simple. We're just going to take a pry tool, get our pry tool behind there, and we're going to be able to pop this out. Now I'm gonna put the camera down to do this, but I just wanted to kind of show you up close so you can see where I'm actually prying. Gonna go around and the whole thing is gonna come off. So once we get that off, I'll be able to show you exactly where the clips are so you get a better idea. So let me go ahead, put the camera down and pop this off. All right, so we got the actual vent out. It's gonna take some pressure to get this thing out. It's gonna feel like it's gonna break, but everything came out, didn't break at all. So the next thing we're gonna do is, you can see on the bottom, there is a wire harness. We're gonna simply unplug that Then we can bring the entire vent over to the workbench. All right, so we got the entire vent assembly off the truck and on the workbench. Now what we're actually gonna do, as you can see, there's some clips on the side. There's 1, 2, and the other side, 3, 4. So we're gonna pop that off, and we're gonna actually remove the actual vent from the trim around here so we can gain access to the slats. All right, so after we got that trim piece off, now what we're actually gonna do is remove the actual slats from this whole entire piece. So you're simply just gonna kind of pull this to the side. You're gonna be able to pull all the slats out. As you can see, it's coming out right there. So just kind of work your way around and you can pull the whole entire vent assembly out. All right, so as you can see, I took the top 3 slats out. Once you pull the little piece out like that, they kind of just fall out. So now what we're actually going to do is take the wire, slip it through the slats in the back, and you can see the little tabs on the end. So 1, 2, 3, and also 1, 2, 3 on the top there. And we're going to slip them into that same spot where the slats came out, the factory slats, and then kind of pop it back into place. So that took a little time. I just kind of did it off camera because I don't want to break anything. But you want to line the little holes on the side here. Kind of hard to see. Oh, you can see them right there. The little tabs on the actual gauge, they just go into those little holes, 3 on each side. And then what we want to do is just push the little kind of bracket back in like that, and you're good to go. I'm going to leave this plastic on just for now so I don't scrape anything. As to what slat I slipped it through, I was going to put it all the way on the far right one here, but there's not much room, and I just kind of wanted to have a little bit more, I guess, wiggle room for the wire to kind of move around. You do lose a little bit of the closure of the actual vent. I mean, it does close, but it won't close completely. As you can see, it kind of gets bound up right there, but not a big deal. The rest of the vent is fully functional. You can put it up or down, turn it left or right, and everything works fine except for the full closure. So if that's going to bother you, then I guess this is not for you, but for me, I don't really mind. So let me go ahead, put it back into the little trim piece over here. So before I put it back in the trim piece, I was going to keep this plastic on, but I kind of noticed once I'm putting it over, it's going to block that. I'm not going to be able to take it off. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off right now. And then I'm going to take the trim piece. All right, so there we go. The gauge is installed in the actual vent. Again, still have access to be able to move it left and right and up and down, and the wire coming out the back. So we are good to go. Now we can actually put it back into the truck and we can start wiring it up. Really simple. It's just like plug and play. You don't have to do any splicing or anything like that. Really simple. So let's head over to the truck. All right, so here's the gauge. I'm simply just going to slip the wire down into the area where the OBD2 is. There is actually a little hole on the left side of the vent where I'm going to slip this wire through, so it goes all the way down to the bottom where the OBD2 is, and then I can make all my connections. All right, so I popped this little trim piece off just so I can gain access to there. Really simple, just comes right out. So next thing we're gonna do is go to take that box, and you can see the old looking phone jack connection there. So what we're gonna do is plug that into there. And then we have the OBD2 connection, which this wire goes into the other end right there. And then this goes into the OBD2. I'm gonna wrap this up nice and neat so you're not gonna see any of these wires, and it's gonna be a completely flawless install. So let me go ahead, kind of wire everything up, tuck it away, and I'll show you how this thing works. right, guys, so here is the gauge functioning. There's two little buttons. There's one on the left, one on the right. So if we press the one on the right, you can toggle through all the different settings that you can monitor. So that's boost, coolant temperature. I just turned the truck on, so it's not up to operating temp. This is your speed, so you can see how fast you're going if you want a digital speedometer. Your battery voltage, 14.6, 5, 4, 6, 5. This is your RPM shift lights. You can actually program your shift lights, which is pretty cool with this thing. This is your trans temp, so you can take a look at that. All this stuff you can actually monitor on the cluster here as well, but it's cool to have this here. What else? We got IATs, which is your intake air temperature. This is, I'm not really sure which one this is. This is obviously a temperature gauge of some sort. I'm gonna have to look a little bit more into this as to each setting and everything, but pretty cool. This is your throttle, so the more input your throttle, that'll go up. Your AFRs, which is really cool to monitor if you want to keep an eye on that. That's something that I love to keep an eye on, obviously, with my STI. Your 0 to 60 times, so you can time just how fast your truck is. Pretty awesome. And it goes back to boost. So if you press the button on the left, it's actually a recall button, so you can see what it was or you just did for each one of them. So pretty cool. I'm gonna have to read up a little bit on it. It didn't come with instructions, which was kind of strange, but there's a lot of information on the internet for these things, so it's pretty cool. For me, I'm probably just gonna keep it on boost because that is what I want to keep an eye on. But definitely pretty cool. So if I give it some throttle, you can obviously see it change, and it has a little kind of gauge up top as well. So really cool. Absolutely love this thing. And I'll turn on the air so you can see, well, you're not gonna be able to see, but I can feel the air actually coming through. So not a problem at all. I can change the direction of it and everything, up, down, left, right. So we are good to go. All right, guys, so that is going to wrap up the Raxiom multi-gauge OBD2 connection. Absolutely love it. The functionality of it is beautiful. Lots of things to monitor. Such a clean setup. I absolutely love how that turned out. And there's no wires anywhere, so it's definitely up my alley. I'm a very kind of OEM plus kind of person, so having something like that you can't even tell it's there unless it's on is pretty amazing. Huge shout out to Raxiom. This thing is amazing. I mean, honestly, from 5 feet away, you can't even tell that it's there. And once you turn the truck on, you get all the information there. There's no wires on the bottom. So pretty amazing product. Absolutely love it. And I get my phone mount back so I can have it there and not be flopping everywhere. And no more wires. So definitely a huge plus in my book. If you guys have any questions at all about the install, about the gauge, or anything else on the truck, be sure to ask them below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.